Yeah! No! Hello and welcome to this Broken Arrow Early Access. In the beta, I played a bunch of multiplayer games and I never actually played the campaign. This is the early press access, so now I shall be the world #1 Broken Arrow tutorial player today. Wow. Oh man, that text is still on my screen from the tournament. So yeah, let's have a look. Frankly, I'm not very impressed with Warno's single player. I don't think that's a controversial statement. I think it's kind of bad. So, I can't hear anything because I'm an idiot. It's because I've switched off the volume, isn't it? Oh, why is this game so bad, bro? I can't skip this cutscene. Okay, well, it wasn't very long. Let's get that up to a solid 70%. And there's no restart, but whatever. It's not the end of the world. Alright, so we'll just edit that part out, that false start there. We'll just edit that out. Many of you may be noticing that I'm actually wearing something slightly different. I'm just wearing a white polo shirt underneath the headgear. I got blood on the other one. I blew my nose. I had this massive nosebleed. It went all over it, so it's in the wash, but it's white, so I'm not entirely sure it's going to come out. It might turn the whole thing pink. We'll see. So it's not voice acted. Okay. Miller keeps calling me and won't give me a break if I don't throw him a bone. Go pick him up at his hotel, show him around the base, do whatever you want as long as you keep him out of my hair. And take Williams with you, no offense, but she's more talkative than you. Well, I'm already a bit... Well then, Commander, I guess we're the bone then. Miller's hotel is on our way to the training area. Let's hope he is in a better mood than the General. Units colours, your units are blue, allied units are green, hostile units are red, neutral units are grey. Okay. No voice acting?
Someone call for a cab?
I mean, there's no voice acting in the campaign? Okay, well,
Roger. We're on the
we'll
move.
just fast move over there, with F. Basic command, select your units with left mouse button, order movement with right mouse button, double click R and B to follow the roads. Oh, I didn't know that.
Moving out.
Vehicles move faster on roads and slower in forests, okay. There are units from all 3 Baltic states regrouped here, Lithuanian artillery, mechanized infantry from Latvia, reservists and armored vehicles from Estonia. So this is actually German. They have different equipment, different tactics, speak different languages. Creating an interoperable force in this region is a real headache. Well, I'll tell you what's a real headache. You not having any voice acting in the first mission of your campaign. It's very depressing, actually. But yeah, it's cool to see, you know, so there's some Europeans. I'm not going to try and guess who the hell Jalave Jagu are. It'll be a Baltic state thing, right? So that's cool. Looks like they use a lot of American equipment anyway. But that's cool that there's more nations in the campaign, right? So we've got some Germans over here. Planar movement was directional arrows. Move the cursor near the border of the screen. LMB and RMB and move the mouse. Oh, LMB and RMB. Okay, well it still draws the selection box, but I guess it works. I don't recommend that though. Especially if you've got 2 monitors, which I do and it wasn't working properly. Use MMB and move the mouse to rotate. Use the mouse wheel to zoom. Zoom on the label of the unit to attach a camera to it. Miller keeps calling me. What are you doing, Commander? Go get him or he'll leave me alone. Oh, go get him so he'll leave me alone. Sorry, General, I didn't hear you because you have no voice. Anyway, this will be Miller. There he is, that's Miller there. Doesn't really look like his icon, but okay. Hints history. The history of hints you've viewed is in the top right-hand corner of the screen. Okay. And there you go, there's some more... Oh, scimitars?
Roger. We're Oscar Mike.
Well, let's pick up Miller first, and hopefully we get to go see the scimitars. So there you go, there's British units here as well. I mean, the Brits are posted in the Baltic for what it's worth. Councillor Miller, I'm First Lieutenant Williams. It's a pleasure to have you with us. The Commander and I will drive you to this random patch in the forest and show you around the way. Please hop in. I can't move this. Alright, well that's clearly shagged. Take me to the training ground first. I need to make sure that our equipment is showcased in the best possible conditions. Okay. The exercise is about to start, so you'll be able to check by yourself, but I didn't know there was a show. The whole exercise is a big show, Lieutenant. A show of force for our potential enemies, but also an arms fair for our partners. So this game is... How is your hotel counselor? I've heard it's the nicest place around. Just ran that guy over. I hope he doesn't mind there. Apart from the fact that I was woken up every 20 minutes by a cargo helicopter passing right over my head, it was lovely. So here you go, scimitars. I see. And which partners are we trying to impress today, Councillor? That's confidential. Just drive, Lieutenant. I haven't had a chance to point out that the Americans will be getting mad because they call it Lieutenant. And we call it Lieutenant. Even though, to be honest, it is spelled Lieutenant. Or Lieutenant. Anyway, so here's some Baltic gaming. Shame you can't... So you can't... That's one problem I do have with this game. You can't just click on something and check what stats it's got unless it's yours. So when the enemy comes up to you with a A, B, C, D, E, F, G vehicle, and you're like, well, what the hell is that? And you know, you've been playing for 10 minutes or whatever, you click on it to find out, and it doesn't tell you, and you're like, well, does it have stingers? Will it shoot me if I'm in the air? Will it shoot me if I'm on the ground? And by the time you found out, it's too late. So that is very silly. Looks like they drive on the right side of the road in this game. Oh, well, slightly off-road. But yeah, I mean, it's... Oh, so there's actually... Wait, hangar, skip tutorial. Well, we don't want to skip the tutorial because that's sort of the point of the video. But I personally would like to skip the tutorial. I do find it very boring. This is the artillery training ground, Councillor. Here our soldiers practice fire mission procedures. The commander will make a demonstration for you. Okay, looks like I'm doing the demonstration. There we go. Artillery units don't fire automatically. Right-click on the targets to give a fire mission command. Just did that. And yeah, that's something that I do prefer about Broken Arrow. Like, so a lot of people, they hear me complaining and they're just like, dispersion increases with distance, that's why more rounds are needed to hit targets located far away. Smart munitions don't have this problem. They are much more accurate and can correct their trajectory to hit a target designated by a laser, so this is an advantage Broken Arrow has over Warno. Fire mission. Press T to open the fire mission interface. So I've actually got it bound to shift, so the tutorial doesn't update past the normal keybinds. If it was programmed properly, it would check what your keybind is and it would tell you, but what can you do, Press T to open the fire mission interface, select the parameters of the strike, validate the position with a left mouse button click or a drag and drop. So this is something that Warno does better. Broken Arrow does better, and that was something I wanted to say. So yeah, you can cycle through them with shift. I guess sticky keys warning. But that was something I wanted to say, which was that, you know, I think I'm being fair by pointing out the problems, pointing out the good and the bad. You always get some fanboys who are like, no, I don't understand why this one's shooting faster than this one. Whatever. Either way, the laser-guided artillery rounds are very, very, very cool. And do you see how... So, it's trying to home them in, but I put them too far away, right? So you gotta update it, and you can drop them in like a big long line and stuff like that. So I saw a guy do like a smoke wall against me, and I was like, whoa, is the micro in this game... You know, if people reach that level already, because people in Warno still don't do that, except for me. Because I'm the best. As you can see, our latest battlefield management interface enables extremely accurate something. It was I who sold that concept to Congress. Glad to see that it works in practice too. What was I saying? I was talking about how impartial and cool I am. Was Bennett's staff your first assignment, Commander? And what about you, Lieutenant? Yes, sir, it's been 3 years now. Well, you didn't drew the winning ticket with Bennett as CO, you know. He was sidelined a long time ago, and you won't be able to advance your career if you stay attached to that sinking ship. You didn't drew the winning ticket. I suppose they aren't native English speakers. Why is the radar of this Patriot turned off? It is the standard procedure to keep the radar turned off by default to keep the unit mobile and avoid destruction by anti-radiation missiles, so SEED, basically. Radars! Oh, okay, they can still use their backup tracking systems to target aircrafts, but in this mode, their detection and engagement range are limited. It should be ranges, really. Then switch this radar on, Commander. Let's see how far target practice drones can be detected and engaged. Radars. Activating the radar of a unit increases its detection and engagement range, particularly against high-flying targets. The interception of missiles also requires the activation of the radar. It's an early access copy, and they're not going to watch this anyway, but, I mean, it is a mistake, so I have to point it out. And here we go, here's some meteor. Well, at least they've got a sense of humour, that's very funny. So there you go, meteorological balloons there. The efficiency of the radar depends on the altitude of the target. Low-flying aircraft are harder to detect, and helicopters cannot be targeted at all as they fly below the minimum detection altitude of the radar. That's why short-range air defense, SHORAD, is needed to complement long-range surface-to-air missiles. So here we go, here's some Mi-24 training targets. And this presumably is about to tell me that if this is hidden behind this, it's not going to do anything. It's not going to tell me that. Well, okay, I guess it expects you to figure it out yourself, but I'm surprised they wouldn't mention that to me. Obviously I know, because I played the game. But, yeah. So there you go. A fine demonstration of our firepower, Commander. The message is clear. No country equipped with our anti-aircraft systems need worry about its airspace being violated. That's another very funny joke. The devs are Russian, by the way. I shouldn't have to spell out for you why that's a joke. They're obviously pointing fun at the Ukrainians who own these systems, and the Russians are bombing them every day. So there you go, a bit of a subtle pro-Russian slant there, but I mean they're Russian devs. You know, what would you expect? The meteorological balloon was a nice one as well. If you've got only one brain cell and you don't know what that's about, the Chinese had some weather balloon flying over the States, right, and they couldn't shoot it down for ages. So, this is the tank firing range. A platoon of M1A2 Abrams is ready for the demonstration. Okay. Tank armor is much stronger on the front than on the sides. The training of our crews consists in maneuvering to engage the enemy from their flank while minimizing the exposure of their own flanks. Tanks carry different types of rounds: explosive rounds to engage infantry and lightly armoured vehicles, and armour-piercing rounds to deal with highly armoured targets. So that's another thing this game does better than Warno. They actually have different types of ammunition for different targets. Explosive rounds are equally effective at any distance, but the penetration of armour-piercing rounds increases the closer you get from the target. Armour penetration, okay. You should move closer to the targets to demonstrate the increased penetrative power of the kinetic ammunition, Commander. Armour tank. So that's an armata, right? And yeah, okay, so presumably there's a... Wait, in the actual game it's not this bad. But they've clearly, you know, done something tutorial-wise to do that. Penetration allows to fully or partially or fully ignore target's armor and inflict more damage. Kinetic projectiles lose their energy during flight, so they have more penetration at shorter distances. Yeah, we see this in game, but it's not as slanted as Warno. Like, I had the best American tank against something at point-blank range, and it wouldn't one-shot it in the rear. Very well. Now can you send as many targets as possible? Let's see what a Soviet invasion of Europe would have looked like. So yeah, they engage with their machine guns and stuff, which is cool. Like our tanks benefit from good reverse speeds, which is not the case with Russian tanks. This allows us to move backwards to avoid being overrun while maintaining our powerful frontal armor facing the enemy. Honestly, it really does read like it hasn't been checked by a native English speaker. So the vehicles must be kept on the... Well, this is it. 70 tons of American diplomacy. You mean 70 tons of diplomatic nightmare? I had to explain to the Lithuanian governor why they needed to reinforce all their road bridges from here to Poland to support their way. So there you go. There's another little bit of pro-Russian slant there. Sure, but when they arrive, nothing stands in their way. And how was your flight, Councillor? Completely unremarkable. You know, I spend half my time in the air, so the only surprising thing that could happen to me on a plane would be to reach my 60s without getting cancer. Big F. I know pilots do have to take precautions with radiation exposure, have their kids early, that sort of thing. So presumably we're about to find out about repairing. But yeah, I mean, I don't mind it, right? I really enjoyed playing that Syrian warfare game. I thought that was absolutely hilarious, and that was very much a pro-Russian game because like the Syrians are there, like, we're being wrecked. Here come the Russians to save us, and the Russians are like supermen in that game. It's hilarious. Like one of their squads is just way better than anything else on the battlefield. It's very, very funny. What is going on here? We're about to learn about repairing, I suppose. Some of our vehicles broke down, apparently. Thanks to the diagnostic system integrated into our vehicles, we can easily identify which part is damaged. Critical effects. When a vehicle is hit, there's a probability to receive a critical effect, reducing its ability. So when people say there's no broken arrow, there's no RNG in Broken Arrow, there is. There's significantly less than there is in Warno, and I'm very grateful for that. But there is still RNG, and the RNG can be a flipping BTR-80 can break your tank. It can just shoot it once, and then your tank can't see anything, it can't shoot. It's really funny. It's really funny depending on whose team you're on. Critical effects. When a vehicle is hit, there is a probability to receive a critical effect, reducing its abilities. There are 4 types of critical effects: detection, aiming, reloading, mobility. And mobility. There are 2 levels of significance, yellow and red. Fully repairing a vehicle removes the critical effects. Also, there should be a capital letter after this. I know it just sounds like nitpicking, but... And I know they've got 2 months, but will they fix it? It's just sort of indicative of, you know, the rest of the game, basically. Anyway, you would hope that it would... Because obviously we can assume that this is detection, this is aiming, this is reloading, and this is mobility. In which case, surely you'd want these in that order, right? Detection, mobility, aiming, reloading, as opposed to this order and then that order there. And you'd want them maybe color-coded or next to them. We cannot let that happen, not today. Don't worry, sir, we have the necessary supplies to repair them, so presumably I've just been equipped with... The commander will call the cargo truck from the support group and make sure they bring a big load of supplies with them. Supplies are bought from the reinforcement menu located in the top left corner. Select a truck in the support category, click on the supplies to fill the truck. So this is something which is very different to Warno, in that you can only bring a certain... Well, you get infinite supply, theoretically, and you pay for it as you need it. As soon as the supplies are unloaded next to the vehicles, the crew will handle the repairs automatically. Okay. You can load a truck with more than 1,000 kilos of supplies. Click on the supplies card multiple times to load more. Control plus LMB loads 4,000 supplies. Shift LMB loads the maximum amount. Okay, well that's one to know, actually. There you go. Yeah, I didn't know that. Oh. Presumably that was just explaining to me how to unload the supplies. I didn't read it. So there you go, you press Y. Well, I've changed a lot of these. I've actually changed a lot of these, so there you go. And it didn't let me reverse myself. That's a good point, actually, because it said, oh, we're faster on the reverse, and then it took it off me and reversed them. Whereas it should have said, press G to reverse or whatever. I think in the default game, it's actually not G, and I've changed that as well. The vehicles are now fully operational again. Perfect, now let's move on. These guys all look like AI as well, but I mean, that's just sort of par for the course with games these days, having AI-generated people. By the way, Councillor, where do you and the General know each other from? Ah, we were friends once, good friends actually. Oh, and what happened? This hasn't changed. I don't know if it's because I sped it up. Can we just not have this conversation, please? When do we get there? Alright. Helicopters are really impressive machines. Too bad they are so noisy. Our pilots are ready to take off. Do you want to hop in for a ride, Councillor? Certainly, it will be a nice change from those little private helicopters that fly like cabs. Cargo helicopters can transport troops and supplies, but also vehicles as long as their weight allows it. So that's pretty cool. One of our vehicles broke down during a maneuver exercise. Let's go and recover it with our helicopter. Cargo helicopters can transport multiple infantry squads, but also supplies and vehicles. The limit for infantry is defined by the number of seats. The limit for supplies and vehicles is defined by the limit of... Okay. Alright. Anyway, so this is something else Broken Arrow does better, that you can have one Chinook carry multiple squads and all that, and it's actually quite seamless. It's not complicated to do. Whereas in Warno, one vehicle holds one thing, and that one thing can be 10 men chasseur squad. I was going to say mech rifles at 11, but they're 9 now. Select the transport helicopter and right-click on a unit to give the order to load this cargo, or it can be a 2-man Stinger team. The hooks are in place, now let's drop it off at the repair station. So I didn't actually know you could do this. Because it wasn't obvious, like there was nothing came up when I right-clicked it. There was no like change in the icon or anything. Click the unload order and validate somewhere on the map to drop off the cargo. You can click the unload order twice to unload immediately. You can click a specific element in the cargo panel to unlock. Okay. I mean, this is the copy that they want people to show off. So, you would think that it would be really 10 out of 10 on the presentation side. And that, I'm just looking at the LOS pop in there. Obviously, every game has to do it. Otherwise, your computer would just explode when you try and run it. But it is an interesting concept. Like, it's something to do with the lighting there. So it's like pre-baked lighting, and then it's... Oh, that's weird. The vehicle's been unloaded. The mechanics will get it back in working order. Hooray. How about a little target practice now, Councillor? Get behind one of the machine guns and we'll put you in range of some targets to shoot at. Yeah, that sounds like fun. But I've never fired a machine gun before. Oh, don't worry, it's very simple and I'll be here to help. So yeah, the GAU 21... Isn't that the one off the... Okay, so it's just a 50 cal. Because the GAU 8 Avenger is the one off the A10. These things always look so funny from the back. The only problem is when you zoom in and rotate the camera, it leaves it behind. You don't keep the zoom while you rotate. Oh, okay, you sort of can, but it's a bit wonky. So, yeah, helicopters control much, much, much better in Broken Arrow than they do in Warno. Haha, get some. Oh yeah, that's from, whatever that movie's called, right? Apocalypse Now. What was it? Was it Apocalypse? No, it wasn't Apocalypse. What's the one where he's like 7.62mm full metal jacket? Oh, it's probably called Full Metal Jacket, yeah. It's like, Private Pile! You are a disgrace, Private Pile! Anyway, helicopters in this game are way more maneuverable than they are in Warno. Look, it moves and it points towards the enemy to shoot while it's moving. So, yeah, that is next level technology. Helicopters in this game are actually... I actually think they're a little bit OP, but they're maneuverable. Pretty impressive for someone who has never who's never to have shot before. I didn't have that much fun in a long time. You sure know how to entertain, Lieutenant. You should come work with me. With you on my team, getting those contracts signed would be a breeze. Plus, you wouldn't have to work with this grumpy old man anymore. Thank you for the proposition, but I'm currently tied to my present assignment. I see. Well, think about it. So it's cool that there's like a little bit of a story in there, just something, because otherwise it really would be quite dull. Like, this is, honestly, I don't find this particularly compelling. I guess it's because I've already played like 100 hours of multiplayer, so I basically know everything. But, you know, I like how you can speed it up if you want to, and you can skip it if you want to. So, you know, that's good. I do wonder what these other ones are going to be. This is obviously going to be laser pointing and ATGMs. I do wonder what these two are going to be. Infiltration and CQC, very exciting. This is the ATGM shooting ground. It stands for Anti-Tank Guided Missiles. Very exciting. Right, send the targets. Let's see that in practice. So here we go, we got some strikers. In absence of a specific command specific commands, the gunners communicate their targets to each other. If a missile is already in flight, the other gunner will give priority to another target. That way, no missiles are wasted. It's a pleasant surprise to see that I'm not the only one worrying about the taxpayers' money here. So that is another advantage over Warno. The range of the missiles can be superior to the detection range of the units. So they generally work alongside recon units. Didn't know that. The gunners are trained to switch targets mid-flight if the initial target disappears, or if instructed to do so. So that's also an advantage over Warno. They don't do that in Warno. This is particularly useful as the long flight time of the missile can give time to the enemy to take cover or activate their smoke discharges. I hope you use the old TOW 2A for this demonstration. The new top attack TOW 2B cost twice as much, so using them against anything other than a tank is a waste of resources. Don't worry, sir, we use special training ammunition, both cheaper and less hazardous than regular ammo during exercises. I think it really would have benefited from some voice acting. But yeah, in Warno, they don't do that. They just shoot at whatever's in front of them, which results in massive overkilling. And then if a unit goes to 0 cohesion and routes, they switch to the next one. So if you actually put a bunch of tanks in a line and get them to shoot at each other without microing them, they don't actually kill each other. Except by accident. They get them down to 1 HP and then they switch to the next target. And they haven't fixed that in like 3 years. It's very, very annoying. I see nothing happening here. What's going on? It's a good sign, sir. Our troops are exercising their camouflage skills here. Try to reach the target detected undetected by staying away from the hostile patrols, staying in cover as much as possible, and sprinting to move across open areas quicker. So we use the LOS tool. That doesn't really work properly, but recon units are specially trained and equipped to remain as discreet as possible. They have reduced their visual, thermal, and electronic signature, which makes them harder to detect. Electronic signature, so they refrain from posting geolocated selfies. And then it disappeared. That was another Ukraine war joke, because that's been happening. So there you go, devs being Russian. Your units are more because that's been happening to the Ukrainians basically. Your units are more stealthy when they are inside forests or buildings. A green tree indicator appears on the cursor if you place it. If you hover over it, right? And then that just what? Line of sight. You need to be close enough to detect enemy units, buildings, and thick forests, and block the line of sight. To visualize your line of sight, press the Alt key. So yeah, this also doesn't work properly. It's an approximation, which you'd expect, but it's got no ranges on it. Right, do you see how this has the range on it and this doesn't? It's kind of important. And also I've had it not work properly in the game where it just says that you can see 20 meters and actually you can't. But yeah, because it's an approximation, there will be times where it says that there's no LOS when there is, because it's not checking every degree, right? It's not checking every infinitesimally small angle. It's checking every few degrees or something. You need to be close enough to detect enemy units. Yeah, we spoke about that.
Sneaking in.
So I'm gonna try and get over here, and then we gotta wait for our sprint to come back.
Quick like.
So we'll wait for this guy to piss off.
Walking like ghosts. On the move.
Oh no, I think we've been spotted. Oh, okay.
Infiltrating.
Where's he going? He's going up there, is he?
Copy.
Go, 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 go.
Double time. Moving silent.
So yeah, if this was a recon unit, it probably would have seen me by now. Also, you guys start shooting by default, but you can put them on return fire only, which is useful. You can do that in Warno as well. It's worth noting that the price came out for this game, and it is $50 US, or £45 or something. Well, well, looks like we have hide and seek champions. I did it. Hooray. Now we'll do the, But yeah, I learned something from this one about the ATGM targeting. I think it's good that they've got, you know, it's just easier for newer players because they don't have to manually target all their units because it will automatically do it correctly. And the fact that they reacquire targets is actually very impressive. Infantrymen use these buildings to... Okay. The rules are simple. We try to capture their sector and they try to capture ours. Sounds good. Let's see what you're made of, Commander. I mean, look, so I can read this, but if somebody is not a native English speaker, they're going to find it very hard to keep up with that, and there's no next button, and also these change. Like, okay doesn't go to the next... Look, our troops are ready to be called as reinforcement, Commander. Reinforcements can be called up from the menu in the top left-hand corner. The yellow number represents the quantity of points available, and the white number, the quantity you earn per minute. And yeah, you'll on the previous one, this one with the OK actually changed to another one. So that means that sometimes I'm actually missing things. So let's get some rangers. Does it tell me which one I have to get? No, it doesn't. Alright, well, let's get a javelin one. And, so do you see how you can... I suppose we're out of points, but... Infantry weapons have varying ranges and efficiency. Long-range support weapons usually require the unit to be static to be used, while short-range assault weapons can be fired on the move.
Striker ready for combat.
Assault weapons are also more effective once in range, and they can be used to assault buildings held by enemy units. Well, let's just YOLO. I mean, let's put this one in here.
Get out in 10 seconds, not 10 fucking minutes.
And just YOLO these into here. Oh, we're fighting against the Eastern Europeans, although they don't like to be called that. Vehicles can provide an excellent fire support, but are vulnerable to infantry anti-tank rockets. They must therefore be kept out of their range as much as possible, he says as he just drove right into it. When a unit is low on ammo, whoops, or heavily damaged, it is preferable to send it back. Units sent back to base become available again sooner, and you receive a bonus of requisition points proportional to their condition. So once this gets to... Well, we should probably send it back now. Obviously, I should have put these in these buildings and not done that. I'm just pissing about, right? I'm obviously the world #1 Warno player, etc. I'm not sure what happened there. And yeah, we wanted this to go back to base, etc. But yeah, infantry survive their transports dying, which is actually very useful. They don't do that in Warno. In Warno, if your transport dies to one single round, everybody inside dies 100% of the time. It's really stupid. I did ask them to change it, and that didn't go anywhere, so... So yeah, I do actually prefer the broken arrow system in that case. It's a bit more forgiving, but ultimately I actually prefer the infantry combat in broken arrow. It is faster, but things like the transport's not immediately dying, nothing dying really in one hit, actually does make it a lot more forgiving, and it means you can be a lot more aggressive with your transports. You can just send them straight into the enemy and unload on their face with shotgun units and kill them. It's actually really fun if you get used to it. I just don't like in Broken Arrow how you just don't get that many units. Like, in a typical multiplayer game, you'd get twice this, basically, and that's it, and it's like, well, that's not great. You'll notice that the game, by default, is a lot more zoomed in, and that's because you get fewer units, there isn't actually as much to manage. Well, that was a good show, Commander, but it demonstrates one thing. Our allies are not ready at all to defend themselves. Had it been the Russians in front of them today, they would have been slaughtered. Failure is part of training, sir. They are only reservists. They will continue to drill. That's all well and good, but I'm not here for these trifles. I've got a major fighter jet contract to attend to. So here we go, we get to do some jet stuff now. Ah, here is the real showstopper. I want you to demonstrate its air-to-ground and air-to-air capabilities to our guests. Take a seat, Miller. I'm in charge here. Ah, General, I was wondering when you'd come out of hiding. So what's on the menu, Chief? What is that, an F-16 or an F-18 or an F-15? We will start with the classic close call air support. Yeah, like in 1981, the good old days. You never change your record, do you? Shut up, Miller. So that's another anti-American joke. Commander, you'll be leading this demonstration. Call in an A-10 and order it to destroy the marked targets. So I do wonder if the Americans playing this game will understand... So it was an F-15 Eagle. So I got there at the end. I do wonder if the Americans playing this game will understand that the game is literally constantly insulting them. Planes must work in coordination with recon to detect enemy ground units. The recon detects and identifies the target while the plane maneuvers to attack it. Airstrikes. Right-click on an enemy unit to order a strike on its position. If the target is not visible, you can attack its suspected position with a strike order. So we'll do a strafing run.
CAS, mission received.
Close air support mission received. And you see, it will actually come around to it. So this is something else that this game does a lot better than Warno. In Warno, you right-click, and sometimes it will just go... It'll always make a beeline to it, and sometimes it will just completely fuck it up because you came in from the wrong way, and the solution is, well, you should have known that. Whereas this game, you can say, come in from this way, and it will actually set it up for you and do it itself. So this is pretty cool. And there you go, there's the bird sound. And, yeah, that seems to take a lot of the micro out of it. But, whoa, the sound of that gun always gives me the chills. It reminds me of, well, whatever. Send the plane back to base before it runs out of fuel. RTB, return to base. Use the return to base command to send your plane back to the spawn point and obtain a refund. The refund price takes into account missing ammunition and damages. So, you are charged for munitions expenditure, but from what I understand, it's not significant. So there is a strat, and there was a strat in this beta as well. Now calling a Harrier to make a bombing run. It's crazy that another old crate. It's crazy. So the Americans bought all the British Harriers, and the Brits really could have used them, really. Well, okay, I mean, we don't really fight anybody, but bombing run works similarly to strafing run. Right-click on the enemy, or use the order to define the orientation of the strike. Well, we'll just right-click, and see if it does it for us.
Jump jet standing by. CAS mission confirmed.
Well, there you go. And we missed one.
CAS is on the way.
So we'll try and see if he comes in for the guns. Send the plane back to base before it runs out of fuel.
Time to bug out.
And you can pop afterburners on some of them, but I guess not this one. And then we can speed it up, which is always helpful. Alright, Commander, now send in the F-15EX now. Finally, and armor tank training target. F-15EX Eagle 2, that's got JDAMs on it, okay. This plane is equipped with a laser designation pod and smart bombs. You mark the target with the pod, and the bombs will correct their trajectory to hit it with pinpoint accuracy. Precision strikes. Right-click on the target to order an attack. Click on the laser ability, then validate it on the target, and the bomb will follow the laser. Okay, so let's try and break the tutorial, see what happens. Alright. So drop the JDAM maybe? No? It was aiming. Weird. You just attack friendly units, Commander. Either you're totally incompetent or you're a Russian spy, and in either case, we're going to have a little chat in private. Lieutenant, put this man under arrest. So did we fail? Well, we failed the tutorial, guys. I don't know what to say. I guess I'm a trash player to begin with. I'm just so bad at Broken Arrow. I can't even beat the tutorial. I'm not doing it again.